Welcome to a deep dive into filters. First, a history lesson. Filters were first introduced to filter for basic stuff like vforges on skyblock items. They are based off of a key, which is the filter name, and a value, which is the filter value. For example, we could filter for the vforge ancient on Hyperions, which will lead us no results because none of them saw it recently. After this basic matching of 1-to-1, filters got extended to include placeholders on items like pets via the pet level filter. Here, for example, we can search for pet level ranges. For example, 92 to 96. As you can see here, for the pet level filter, we also need a rarity. Let's select legendary. This is due to the pet level filter actually calculating the amount of XP necessary to reach a certain level. Because if we scroll down to an item here, we actually notice there is no level in the NBT data here. There's only XP. So this filter needs to calculate the amount of XP to search for. Besides this format of something to something else, you can also use the format bigger than something or smaller than a number. This will yield us the according auctions. Besides these ranges, special cases for M and K exist to avoid you having to enter more digits than necessary. This is useful, for example, for the starting bit filter, where we can select starting bits of over 100 million. As you can see here, now we only have very expensive items. Besides filtering past auctions, you can also use filters to select items for the item flipper under the filter rules menu. Let's say I don't want to see any Midas staff with a starting bid of over 10 million and a winning bid under 20 million, which doesn't actually work. You have to select at least 60 million. Let's instead choose 80 and hit on save restriction. Now, special side note, the conditions in this filter element are all combined with an AND. So we just blacklisted Midas staffs, which also have the starting bid above 10 million and a winning bid below 80 million. If you would like to set up filters with or, so either of those, you would have to select separate filter elements. There are 4 types of filters. There are whitelists, blacklists, blacklists with forced blacklist, and the main filters min profit and the advanced main filters like the min profit percentage, min volume, and max cost. To showcase how they work, here a visualization. Flips come in from the flip finders. There's a separate video about these. And first hit the forced blacklist. The forced blacklists are blacklists of flips you definitely don't want to see. They will never show up no matter what. If the filter matches the flip, it's gone. Next, there are whitelists. Things you know for certain are a profit under a specific price. For example, as we had earlier, Midas staffs under 10 million. They will be whitelisted and be sent out immediately to your chat. Next, there's the min profit, max cost, and min volume. This is the quote-unquote normal filter that will filter out most things you don't want to see. Mainly your min profit will probably get rid of a lot of auctions, because there are a lot more low profit auctions than higher ones. Last but not least, there's the normal blacklist. These are all the blacklist entries which don't have a force blacklist filter attached to them. Any items or auctions matching those also get thrown away. If an auction gets through all of these filters, it's also normally shown in your chat. There's one special case. If you enable the whitelist after main setting or tagged the whitelist entry with the after main filter, these two signs are gonna be switched. Then the min profit, max cost and min volume are checked before the whitelist entry, and the whitelist entry only skips whatever is on the blacklist. You can get a list of all filters in game with the /cofl filters command. Here you see a breakdown of the first page. There are quite a few filters by now, and you can search for them by attaching the search word after the word filters. For example, if I want to get anything involving the word bid, I can search it like that. And I get the breakdown of the winning bid, which is the value for Midas staffs, starting bid, which is the starting bid for auctions, and the highest bid, which is the current highest bid for an auction. Besides being available in game, these are also the filters listed in this drop-down menu. Here it's a bit more visually appealing to search for them. Next, some information about some commonly misused or misunderstood filters. First of all, the item category filter. The item category filter allows you to specify a group of items of a given topic. The most confusing filter of these is the skin filter, or rather the pet skin filter, which includes all pet skins as items. These are not pets with skins, these are the skins themselves. If you want to blacklist pets with skins, you can't use this filter, you will have to use the pet skin filter. Here you can either select a specific skin on a pet you want to blacklist, or just select any if you don't want to get them at all. Most option filters have the value any. Select it to select all of the available options. One of the newer filters is the item name contains filter. This allows you to specify anything in an item name that you want to select. For example, if you don't want to see anything containing a lowercase a, you would do it like this. Now, everything containing a lowercase a won't be shown anymore, except it's whitelisted. If I mistyped it, I can click the edit button to change it to an uppercase a, because actually I wanted to select everything that's called aspect. Note that this filter is case sensitive. Besides these filter elements, there are also some other settings under this button. Most of these are just for visibility and to give you an option to see more or less information. Note that these two elements, namely the seller and the lowest bin, take more time to retrieve and show to you and thus delay your flips. So by now we generally recommend against using them if you can avoid it. If you want to flip based on lowest bin, you should select the sniper, which is a dedicated flip algorithm that calculates the profit based on lowest bin and does not take any extra time to do so. Any other flip finder algorithm will take extra time. It was a very common use case from flippers to see the seller. Retrieving the seller name also takes time. If you don't actually want to see the seller name, but rather just open the seller's auction, you can enable the seller AH button. This will show you a button in game which allows you to directly open the seller's AH without actually seeing or typing in the seller's name, and doesn't take any extra time to show you the seller. Instead, it only makes the seller lookup if you actually click it. Also on this page, a bit further down, you see the import and export buttons. Here you can export or import filters. You don't actually need to click this import button, but you can also drag and drop in the filter.json file into this web page and it will automatically reload and apply your filters. Be cautious though, your old filters will be overwritten, so you would be advised to first export them. Besides exporting them, you can also use the cofl backup command to add a new backup of your settings. As you can see here, I can add new backups with add, I can list them, and I can remove them again. If you come across some auction you don't want to see again, for example, because you don't like the item or there's some other player spamming new auctions, you can go ahead and blacklist the flip or the item via the flip menu. There's a separate video about the flip menu itself. Since that video was made, there are a few more options here though. Namely, we can temporarily blacklist an item. For example, if the price recently spiked and we want to wait for it to go back down again, or if there's a bug which needs to be fixed first, we can select the weekly option to blacklist it. Or if you don't like the seller, we can click this option, which adds a forced blacklist entry for the seller. As shown earlier, this will prevent such flips from showing up at the very start of the flip checking chain.